Hello. So in today's video, we are going to be talking the best drugstore releases so far in 2022, part 3. I will link part 1 and part 2 down below. In case this is your first time watching one of these, this is something that I've started doing on my channel every quarter. So every 3 months, I do a recap of all of the best drugstore releases over the past few months. I do a lot of what's new at the drugstore videos on here because there are a lot of new releases happening all the time, and this is a good way to just round out what I highly recommend out of everything that I try over the course of a 3-month period. So with that, let's go ahead and get right into it. All right, first up is the e.l.f. No Budge Cream Eyeshadow. It's in the shade Sand Dune, and it has become one of my favorite go-to cream shadows. I really like using it with a denser, fluffy brush, something like this one. This is the Morphe M453. Just swirl your brush in there, and then you can just apply this all over your lid and just blend it out as you would almost a powder eyeshadow. It's just really natural and blendable. Highly recommend this shade for just an everyday use or even as a base for like a smoky eye look. This will help make all your other eyeshadows pop and really stay on well. But just this on its own is a perfect, just throw a wash all over your lid and crease and under your eye for a really defined look. I feel like e.l.f. really nailed it with these eyeshadows. And as I said when I was reviewing these, matte cream eyeshadows at the drugstore are just impossible to find in a good formula. Usually you've got to go high end to get a good quality matte eyeshadow, and e.l.f. has changed that in the year of 2022. So highly recommend giving these a try, specifically the shade Sand Dune. All right, next up is a highlighter that's under $4 that has blown me away. It's the Essence The Highlighter. This is in the shade Staggering. This just feels like a high-end highlighter and is more pigmented and more intense than the Essence Pure Nude highlighter, which has been a beloved highlighter for years. That's gonna give you more of that really soft candlelit glow, whereas this one's gonna take you up a notch. So if you like that formula, but you need a little bit more, this is gonna be your new favorite. It's super finely milled, absolutely zero sparkle. It just looks like a beautiful sheen. I'm actually gonna put some on so you can see it on my face as well. You just use a really light hand and it just gives that gorgeous glow, but it's also very buildable if you like more of that intense highlighted look. Just a beautiful highlighter, and it comes in a lot of different shades. All right, next up is limited edition. I don't know if this is still out. I hope that it is, but it's the LA Girl Matte Bronzer from their Sunset Glow collection. I believe in their permanent collection, they have a bronzer in this color and a bronzer in this color. I love having both options for when I'm self-tanned, for when I'm not self-tanned, for when I want to go a little bit more of a bronzy look, for when I want something a little bit more natural. I feel like I just always am reaching for this bronzer. The only thing I don't love about it is how large it is. Like here it is next to my face. It's a very large, very bulky package, but the actual product is so good that I can look past it. It's a matte formula, so it doesn't have any shimmer in it. It looks really natural. And the formula actually reminds me a lot of my Juvia's Place bronzer duo, which I love, but that one's $20 and this one's a lot more affordable. So major Marc Jacobs vibes with this formula. It feels like absolute butter. And let me just show you so you can mix the two, which I do sometimes, and get like a kind of in-between shade. Or you can go really dark, or you can go much lighter. So you've got several kind of shade options here, depending on your skin tone and the look you're going for. But one of my favorite releases by far of the year. All right, I've talked about this one ad nauseum, so we're gonna shoot right through this, but the e.l.f. Halo Glow Liquid Filter had to make it into this video. I just put this in the best dupes of the year video. It's been in another dupes video. It is just worth the hype that it gets. I have mine in the shade Light Medium. It's a great glowy primer. It's beautiful to wear all on its own if you want a really dewy effect, and it's great to use on the high points of your face for a very natural glow. Although the ingredients are not the exact same as the Charlotte Tilbury Flawless Filter, the effect is the same, and even though the ingredients are different, they're not lower quality. This has ingredients like squalene and hyaluronic acid, and is a very hydrating formula. It also has properties in it to make it very water resistant. So this is actually a little bit more long lasting than Charlotte Tilbury. So again, I've talked about this a ton, but I had to make it into this video. All right, next up is one of my favorite eyeshadow palette releases I have tried in a very long time, and especially from ColourPop. It is the ColourPop Clay It Cool palette. I did a comparison between this one and the Patrick Ta palette. Patrick Ta Major Dimension 2, which has very similar tones to this one. I will link that video down below where I did an eyeshadow look with each on each eye, and the effect was pretty much the same. So if you've been eyeing that palette, this is a really good alternative to give you very similar looks because the color story is almost identical. I just feel like this is a perfect fall palette. It comes with 1 cream shade, 5 mattes, and 4 shimmers. The pigment of the shimmers is, I mean, it's ColourPop, so it's gonna be fantastic. Absolutely gorgeous, and even more impressive is the pigment on these matte eyeshadows. It's ridiculous how pigmented these are. So this will definitely be a go-to palette going into fall. Next up, I have 2 concealers that I have recently discovered that I love. First up is the Covergirl Simply Ageless Triple Action. The applicator wand on this is a little bit annoying because it's a ceramic wand, so it doesn't pick up like a typical doe foot applicator does. So you might have to dip it back in a few times if you like to wear a lot of concealer. But I actually find that the amount that comes out on this is enough to cover your underneath your eyes. It actually stops you from applying too much product, and it feels nice and cooling on the under eye area. So it kind of helps with the depuffing. This has hyaluronic acid, a lot of hydrating ingredients, so it's really gonna be friendly for mature under eyes, but I think this could work for all different skin types. It has really great coverage, so a little bit goes a long way, and is one of the most flattering under eye concealers I've used in quite some time. And then this is a very different concealer, but the more I've used it, the more I've fallen in love with. It's the Joah Perfect Complexion Eye Serum Concealer. This you can find at CVS or on Joah Beauty's website. This has ceramides and peptides, and I would say this is more of like a light to medium coverage. So I wouldn't say this is gonna be your favorite if you have a ton to cover because it has lower coverage. It really just becomes one with your skin. It really melts into your skin. It has a cushion style applicator, which isn't my favorite, but I haven't had any issues with this one being really messy. This just absolutely melts into your skin. It looks extremely natural. All right, and then last but not least is a new find for me, and they are the Milani Liquid Highlighter and Liquid Contour. The Liquid Brightener just didn't do it for me. I feel like between that one and that Joah Beauty one, I would go with the Joah Beauty one. It's a little bit more creamy and it has a little bit more coverage and very similar price point, not to mention a lot more product in that one. But these two are fantastic. The Milani Liquid Contour in the shade Ginger makes for a great liquid bronzer. It's how I use it because it's very warm toned. This is such an incredibly blendable formula. You cannot screw this up. Like if you are intimidated by a liquid bronzer or liquid contour, try this one because it's really hard to screw it up. It shears out quite a bit, so you can continue to build it up if you want to, or you can leave it very, very natural. So this is great for like a no makeup look with just a little bit of definition. Same deal with this Milani highlighter. This is super, super natural. Much more natural than like the Charlotte Tilbury one, the Flower Beauty Spotlight. Sort of like the Essence Pure Nude highlighter is in a powder formula. This is in a liquid formula. It just gives you a very soft candlelit effect. Nothing too blingy or obvious. It doesn't even really look like you're wearing a highlighter. So really great options for anyone that likes very natural looking makeup. And that is everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Let me know in the comments what your favorite releases over the last couple of months have been. Again, I will link parts 1 and 2 of this year in the comments below, and I can't believe I'm saying that the next one of these will be my end of year best of. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe while you're here, and I will see you in my next one.